Thank everyone for again being here tonight for our business meeting. For those who came to our fellowship supper, those who brought. Uh, it's going to be kind of short tonight. What sure how long the business meeting would be, and the Bible study I want to do is I will not get to do do all in one night. So I thought I would just kind of start it tonight, and Lord will. I know Marty said Trent's going to try to be here Sunday. So we'll see how things play out. If he needs me next Wednesday night, we'll just continue on. But if you turn in the book of Exodus, we're back in the Old Testament book of, or not Exodus, I'm sorry, Genesis. I don't know why I said Exodus. Genesis chapter 37. We're going to talk about many times in the Old Testament you see what a lot of people will call foreshadowing. It's image is the scriptures that foreshadow things of the future. And chapter 37 starts with the story of, we know of Joseph, the life of Joseph. And I strongly suggest, go read chapter 37 all the way to the beginning of Exodus and read the life of Joseph. Wonderful story. Many of us know the life of Joseph, many things of Joseph, but if you look at what I'm, again, saying foreshadowing, there are many verses that you read there that if you really think about them, there are foreshadowing of Jesus Christ. And that's, I kind of entitled this, Seeing Jesus in Joseph. Because you can see things that are mentioned there that if you reflect on the life of Jesus Christ, you will see that the life of Joseph foreshadowed the things of Jesus Christ. But we're going to read Genesis. For some reason I got Exodus on my mind tonight. I don't know why. Genesis 37. We're going to read verse 1 and 2, just kind of as an opener. But then we're going to skip down to verse 13. So Genesis 37, starting in verse 1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph being 17 years old, so we know at this time he was 17, he was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zephi, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. So, again, these next few verses we know of how, and when you're reading through this, if you see it mentioned Jacob, but then down in verse 3, it calls him Israel. You will see those interchangeably. Jacob will be called Israel or vice versa. So that is the same person. Jacob is Israel. We know how Jacob loved Joseph. We know the story of the coat of many colors, how he gave him that coat of many colors, and how his brothers just were so envious and mad at him. We read in the next few verses down from that the two dreams that Joseph had. Joseph had one dream of them gathering sheaves, and one of the sheaves stood up, and all the other sheaves basically bowed down to his. And the brothers got mad about that, like, you want us to bow down before you, and we're not going to do that. And then he tells of another dream he had about seeing the sun and the moon and 11 stars, because he had 11 brothers, Joseph did, that how that they bowed down. And then that was kind of upsetting to Jacob. It's like, you expect the sun representing Jacob, the moon representing his mother, and the 11 stars representing the 11 brothers that Joseph had. You expect your mother and father to bow down to you? So Joseph was, even at that age, being prepared by God for even though he had no idea the life that he was about to encounter and start. But even then, God was working in his life. But then if we go all the way down, we know that Joseph's brothers, they were out tending the flocks and things like that. If we go down to verse 13, it says in verse 13, in Israel, again that's Jacob, said unto Joseph, doth not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. Now, so even though Jacob's brothers pretty much despised him, Jacob loved Joseph. Again, gave him that coat of many colors. and it even mentioned after Joseph had revealed that dream about the sun and the moon and the stars bowing down, Jacob kept those things in his remembrance, how he remembered those things. But there's a statement there that kind of, when I was reading through, it says, thereafter he said, doth your brother not feed the flock in Shechem? He said, come, I will send thee unto him. Now I want us to go over to John chapter 17 and verse 8. John chapter 17 and verse 8. Again, we're looking at this as a foreshadowing, the life that Joseph leads as a foreshadowing of Jesus Christ. So in John chapter 17, it says here, and this is Jesus praying in the garden before he was taken. And he says in verse 8 of John 17, for I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out of thee, and they have believed that thou didst what? Send me. Israel, Jacob, called upon his son Joseph, and Joseph said, here I am. He said, I'm going to send you to your brethren. Well, what did God, even though we know God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, the three in one, the Trinity, they were all before all of creation. But John says, for God so loved the world that he sent. So just as Jacob called upon his son Joseph to go feed his brethren, here Jesus is in his prayer talking about how God has sent me. God has called upon me as his son to go to my brethren. These were his people, the Jewish people. Jesus was going to come into his own people, his brethren, because he was born as a Jew. He was going to come into his brethren to what? Feed them not physical bread, but feed them spiritually. So, again, we see this foreshadowing in the life of Joseph, how Jacob sent Joseph, and Joseph willingly said, here I am, I'll go. I'll go and feed, even though as much as Jacob's brothers despised Joseph, he went anyway. He says, I'll go feed my brethren. I'll take them something to eat. Jesus was willing to do the Father's will, to step down out of glory, take on human flesh, and come down and want to feed his brethren the spiritual food, not just the physical food, but the spiritual food unto his brethren. And we know that the life of Jesus, what happened? Those brethren, his people, what did they do? They despised it. They despised it. So much that they talked about killing him, wanting to kill him, and eventually bringing false claims against him so that he would be crucified and killed. We know Joseph didn't get killed, and we'll go through a lot more verses in the next however long we have. But I just want you to keep in mind, read Genesis 37 till Exodus. Read the life of Joseph. And just as you're reading, just think about Jesus and how you can see in the life of Joseph the life of Jesus. Just like here. Jacob sent Joseph. God the Father sent God the Son to feed the brethren. And Joseph could have very said, no, I'm not, they don't like me. I don't want to, I'm afraid they'll do something, they'll be mean to me. Because Joseph knew that they didn't like him. I mean, it wasn't any family secret that his brothers didn't like him. I mean, they envied him, they despised him. But number one, because Jacob loved Joseph more than any of the other sons. But he was still willing to go. He said, here am I. Jesus Christ, we should be thankful that he was willing to say, here am I, send me, I'll go, I will take on. And this was a decision made before the foundations of the world. That decision that one day Jesus would come, that he would be willing to sacrifice himself, come, take on a robe of flesh, live among those who would despise him, reject him, eventually crucify him, so that he could feed his brethren and feed us his word, what we still preach today, the spiritual food, the gospel of Jesus Christ. So please try to go back, start at Genesis 37, read all the way to the book of Exodus, and see if you see in some of those verses, see the life of Jesus through the life of Joseph. Thank y'all tonight. Again, I wanted to be a little short tonight. Marty's already mentioned, of course, Brother Trent and Paul Sender. I don't really have any other updates on anyone else. But if you do have any updates, anyone we need to add on our prayer list, or if we need to take anybody off. If I missed somebody last week when I was trying to redo the bulletin and retyping stuff, just please let me know if I've left someone off, and we'll either re-add them or take them off if we need to. But if nothing else tonight, if we would stand, and we'll be dismissed in a word of prayer. Again, thank everyone for being out tonight. Again, pray for those on our prayer list, and pray for Brother Trent as he continues his recovery, and hopefully and prayerfully get to see him here Sunday. I'm going to ask Brother Chuck if he would please close us in a word of prayer tonight. Thank you for joining with us today. We hope this broadcast was a blessing and encouragement to you. We invite you to join each Sunday morning at 11 a.m. for worship service, and each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for Bible study. You can join us in person, listen on 100.5 FM, or watch our live streams on Facebook, YouTube, or our church website. Please be sure to like, follow, share, subscribe on Facebook and YouTube so you'll be notified in the future. Also, if you have Roku, Fire, or Apple TV, you can load the Boxcast app, search for New Hope Baptist Church, and look for a Hope is an Anchor logo, and watch our service as well. We also have QR codes which can be scanned to quickly access some of our sites.